Welcome to Path to Recovery. I'm Apryl Chapman Thomas, chatting with Cody Gray and Tim Bush of Louisiana Cajun Bayou. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me today. Before we get started, let's tell the listeners a little bit about the destination itself.
Sure, definitely. Thank you for having us on today. Louisiana Cajun Bayou, Lafourche Parish, is just 35 miles south of New Orleans. It is the destination for amazing outdoor adventure, food, and just culture and heritage of the Cajun communities that represent our communities. So it's a great place for people who are definitely foodies and cultural travelers and outdoor enthusiasts.
Thank you. Let's go back to the shutdown, that time, and tell everybody a little bit about what the destination was doing, how it affected, and the role your office played in it.
Sure, definitely. Obviously, nobody thought that we would still be in this pandemic today. We call it kind of an entanglement in the office because it had just been such a broad impact, more than we had anticipated. But one of the things that we did was, we paused our marketing like a lot of destinations did, and really began to assess how we would focus on helping our local partners to really, stay afloat and keep their businesses operational. So we began supporting local messaging, talking about restaurants and the things that were open, and really promoting outdoors and open spaces as an opportunity for visitors and residents alike to get out and still enjoy some of life.
Now that you're seeing things slowly lessen up, do you feel like the marketing is still the same? Are you still trying to promote that outdoor activity and everything? Do you feel like that's a big draw?
Yeah, I'm gonna
travel safely. You want to get out, but do something safe.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw that one to our director of sales and marketing, Cody. Let him answer that one.
Sure, and absolutely. I mean, as all of the industry insight and research shows, a lot of travelers in the United States are looking to get into that outdoor space. And I mean, we're very fortunate to be a smaller destination in southern Louisiana, and we have all of that, abundant outdoor activity. Charter fishing being a huge thing here, or just fishing in general, whether it be saltwater or freshwater. We're fortunate to have both. So it really opens up a space for people to come in, whether that be paddling or kayaking up and down the bayou, whether that be fishing out in the Gulf of Mexico or the southern end of the parish, or even just getting out into nature and just going to some of the outdoor attractions that we have here in the area. I mean, that's been a big thing that we've been pushing a lot of, and it has been received extremely well.
Now, when you were providing support to like your local merchants and such, what resources were you using? Were you meeting them with Zoom? How did you stay connected with everybody?
Well, one of the things here is we're still kind of old school in how we reach out to partners. A lot of our partners love, in-person interaction or a phone call, and so a lot of what we did was, calling partners every single week and checking in to see how they were doing. Of course, when we heard about new resources that were available, we would send that out via email, newsletter to our partners, and we'd follow up to make sure that they were getting that information. But it was really important for us to look at what we were doing, how we could be a resource and just be a hub for people and whatever challenges they were facing. And certainly we had some partners who were able to connect with other agencies to help them with some of the challenges they were facing. So again, a lot of for us was just trying to maximize, if we couldn't do face-to-face, doing Zoom, doing phone calls, and reaching out to partners in every way we could.
It might be too early to tell, but let's say looking back, is there anything you wish was done differently? Or
Cody, you want to take that?
Sure. So looking back at some of the data and stuff that we're looking at, we're currently reviewing, because Louisiana is still in a phase 2 recovery status at the moment, and we've actually been in that recovery. I was reading an article this morning. We've been in that phase 2 recovery plan for, I believe it's been about 3.5 months. So it's been extended on us quite a bit. I think looking back at it and really looking at the data, I think from my perspective, and I think Timothy would agree, it's, I wish, I wish we would have had, and of course don't we all, a little bit of insight there at the beginning to really, to really be able to, I guess, pivot a little more quickly. Looking back at that, I mean, I think that our response time was really good. But of course, hindsight's 2020. So really looking at the messaging and the data, being able to pivot a little more quickly would have been, I think, ideal for us. However, we are super proud to have been able to pivot as quickly as we did, because we paused all of our marketing in March, and we started it again June 1. So really in that downtime, we were able to really come up with a plan to turn our marketing around and to pivot to a different message during these recovery phases. And of course, we've had to pivot consistently during these months as phase 2 has been extended. So I think that would be one of the things that I would have liked to, or I know we would have liked to have seen done maybe a little quicker on pivoting. But whenever we did, I think we really hit the nail on the head here with our current branding, marketing, messaging.
And just to kind of echo that point. Our campaign that we launched June 1 was Remember Lafourche. The focus of that campaign was really to, encourage people that when they were able to travel again. And so throughout this process, to Cody's point, we have pivoted the messaging. We came up with we are in this together video at the onset of COVID. I think that video had garnered over 40,000 views on social media. And then we subsequently released other videos. Our hero video is part of our Remember Lafourche campaign, and then small videos related to culinary, fishing, and outdoor adventure to engage not just visitors, but also local residents about what there is to do in our community. I think no matter where you live, residents still have this idea that some of these things in the community they don't take advantage of, because they don't think of them as tourism opportunities or opportunities that locals can do. And so I think it's really important, particularly in this environment, that everybody is championing our local communities and the value that they provide to, again, not just visitors, but also the locals at the same time.
Well, that was going to be my question about the pivoting to the marketing. You mentioned social media. How much has social media been a help during this time? And what avenues are you using to get your message out?
We've done a lot of social. This year we increased our social budget more than we've ever done before. And again, talking about hindsight being 2020, that was probably one of the best implementations that we chose to undertake in 2020, our 2020 budget, because we've been able to allow social media to be that place where we've been able to pivot those conversations and those points about our community as often as we needed to. And that's been a really great value for us as a destination. Again, we don't have a large budget, but what we do have is really great content on our social, and it really focuses on that message to encourage people, hey, when you're ready to travel again, we're here. Also, if you're craving a getaway, Lafourche Parish is a great place for a getaway. So it really has been one of the key components of what we've done since we began remarketing in June 1.
And do you use a combination? Are you using a combination of Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter? What's been best for you?
We use Facebook. We use Instagram, Twitter. Those have kind of been our primary focuses, and we do a lot of digital, and also a lot of the digital we've done. We target that towards local audiences as well. Again, the money that destination marketing organizations have is primarily to be used outside of the market. But I think that now what you're going to see more from organizations is this continued understanding that local communities are really important in championing tourism as an asset for our community. And so in doing so, we've helped to keep people connected within our local community.
What has your office learned during this time? What has been the big takeaway from this wonderful experience?
To be flexible, to be patient, for sure. I mean, again, to Cody's point, we have pivoted almost on a daily basis, waiting for us to move out of phase 2 and into phase 3, more of a larger reopening. I think that even before COVID, destinations had to be flexible to some extent, and understanding that, you know, sometimes you got to pivot. Sometimes something you think is working, it isn't working, so you got to take another strategy to figure it out. But also just patience and understanding that, you know, we are in this place of COVID that's not going away right now. And so the focus is to continue to just try to stay the course and drive down the number of cases so that we can get to a better state of reopening for our state and for our community.
And as we wrap up this interview, what advice would you give to others in the industry?
Oh God, I would go back to be flexible, be nimble in what you're doing. You know, again, sometimes we think something that's a really great idea. It's not working, and so you have to make changes. And I think if COVID has not taught us anything, it is the fact that we have to be flexible, because at the onset of this, the data really said, and all the researchers said, okay, we're going to be here, and by June, we're going to be here. Well, that hadn't really happened to the expectations of a lot of people, and how those things have manifested over the last 9 months. Well, I said 9 months, so from the beginning of the year. So flexibility is what I would say that people would need to think about more so than anything else. And also, I think how we're putting out our messaging and making sure that messaging is consistent with where your destination is right now is really important. And I think that's something that we have been able to really capitalize on over the last 3-4 months.
Excellent. Well, thank you both again for joining me today and talking about Louisiana's and Cajun Bayou. I really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
We appreciate it.